Hello, hello. How are we? Fancy seeing you guys here again, you legends. Today we've got a cracker, really good one that I enjoy a lot. Cheat meals. I'm an absolute fiend for these bad boys. As you can tell, I love eating. So we're going to talk all about these. Hey Kelly, how are ya? Speaking of cheat meals, Kelly, I hope you're enjoying yours. So yeah, we're going to go hard in this one. Really hard. Straight into cheat meals. We're going to cover all things about it. The good, the bad, the ugly. The effect on the gut. And all that sort of jazz. Now, as always, I know you guys are going to have questions around this, okay? I'm just going to cover some weird stuff that a lot of people don't normally cover, such as neurotransmitters and the effect of cheat meals on the gut and then the long-term effects of that. What I want you to do is to ask every single question that you guys can think of. All right. Hey, Fadi, how are ya? All right. So yeah, when we get a few more people online, we'll go straight into this and we'll go really hard onto it. But for now, as always, because I always get asked this, what am I eating? So this one is chicken with rice and beans. Another one from Daily Fuel. It's absolutely mint. Love it. I don't know what Gemma puts in it, but it's delicious. And I froth it. And then over here is a mango. Mango with the skin on is awesome. Like really good. Right? Absolutely mint. Would recommend. Alright. Well, now we've got a few people on. We've got 28 live now. So let's go straight into cheat meals, all right? Let's go hard into these bad boys and ask any questions that come up as long as we get in the way. Now, Nick's just asked thoughts on kiwi fruit. Yeah, fine, whatever, as long as it doesn't react with you, okay? So, cheat meals, right. The good. Start off with the good because everybody loves a cheat meal. Cheat meals are fantastic for giving you a break from dieting, right? When you are always dieting, you're always going hard, you're just eating foods which you don't enjoy. Number one, you're doing dieting wrong because you shouldn't be like that, all right? But if you are doing it that way, a cheat meal gives you a very good reprieve from the boring, monotonous crap that you have to eat all through the week. Now, I must say, yeah, as I just said then, if you don't enjoy your food, then, yeah, good luck. You're not going to have a very fun go at dieting at all, right? That's why I get a professional to make my food because I suck at cooking, okay? So, if you use cheat meals as a way to break up the monotony, that's a good idea. And as a way to give yourself a psychological break from dieting, that's fantastic. If you're dieting in a substantial caloric deficit, right, and you have a cheat meal, then what it will do is it will actually give you more energy. G'day, Dan. It will give you more energy and it will make you feel a whole heap better for the next week. So if you're dieting hard, all right, if you're on low calories, if you're in a substantial TDEE deficit or a substantial calorie deficit, and then at the end of the week, on a Saturday or a Sunday, you go and smash a massive cheat meal, not a massive cheat meal, but a decent cheat meal, what you'll notice is that if you go and train the next week, you'll actually get leaner and you'll actually progress faster. You'll be stronger. You'll be bigger. You'll feel a whole heap better. And so for that reason, I'm a massive advocate for cheat meals. What I say to all my guys, the first thing I say is when we address cheat meals, I say, when you start with me, no cheat meals for 3 weeks, but then by the end of week 3, bang, you can go and smash a big fat cheat meal, and from then on in, as long as you progress well, you can have a cheat meal each week. Now, there are a few people on here who are my clients who haven't probably read their emails properly and realised they've been missing out on cheat meals for a while, who are going to suddenly change their tact. But yeah, now Aiden, you're one of those, I think, mate. So yeah, no, look, we're gonna get a lot of funny comments from my guys. But yeah, if you have a cheat meal why I recommend taking 3 weeks break is because when you first start training with me, we work on fixing your digestion, and having a cheat meal can knock that back, and that's going to be the next thing that we're going to talk about, right after the bad. So the good side, just to summarize that, and to make it all work, and to keep what I'm saying concise. I have just trained, by the way, so I will ramble a little bit tonight. I'm pretty fried. the good side is that it's a really good psychological break, and then on top of that too, you train your ass off the next week. You could probably add into that as well, if you know you have a cheat meal coming in 5 days time, 4 days, 3 days, 2 days, 1 day time, how much harder do you train in the gym? You push yourself knowing you got to earn that cheat meal. You push, and then when you get that cheat meal, you are so satisfied with it. You know, you are super stoked when you do get that cheat meal. Okay, so there's another good reason for it as well. On top of that too, if you have one day where you eat some food which isn't to the plan, or you eat over your regular calories, it can also keep you more on your plan for the rest of it. However, going on to the bad, that can sometimes snowball into giving some people cravings. So, when you are having your cheat meals, if you suddenly get sweet food cravings for the rest of the week, all right, and after that you really cannot help it, you've massively negatively impacted your body. So you've changed your gut microbiome. And when this happens, you are no longer able to withhold your cravings to food. You are much more susceptible to just look for food, search for sugar, search for sweet stuff, search for fatty stuff, okay? And that has a huge negative effect on your body, okay? On top of this too, when people do cheat meals, a lot of the time they just lose control, which is following on for that first step. They lose control and they just eat and eat. And instead of just being a cheat meal, it's a bloody cheat day, you know, which then turns into a cheat couple of days. And after this, excuse me. And after this, what people do is they develop this really unhealthy relationship where they go from being in a massive calorie deficit to work off the cheat meal into a massive calorie surplus. And so they have a cheat meal on a Sunday or a Saturday, go way overboard, and they binge for a day or 2 days or 3 days, and then they crash diet and they eat bugger all, do heaps of cardio to work it off. And then because they're so exhausted and got so many cravings, they then go back and then they have another cheat meal or another couple of days of cheat meals, and this cycle keeps going. And what happens when you do that to your body is you just get fatter and fatter and fatter and fatter, all right? And then you lose more muscle until you're skinny fat, right? Not fun at all. So you need to make sure that if you are going to have cheat meals, you need to be responsible. If you cannot cope with a cheat meal, you need to structure it, right? So if you can't cope with an unstructured cheat meal, you need to make sure that you're looking at your macronutrients and you plan out every single cheat meal in order to do so. You should also be avoiding any sugary foods, okay? Because when you have sugary foods for your cheat meal, and just when you have sugary foods in general, they give you a massive dopamine spike. And the problem with this dopamine spike is that it's transient, all right? And so you get a short spike in dopamine, which makes you feel really good. And you think, oh, I want more of that. And then your body, your brain, it plays around with you. And it keeps telling you there's this big dopamine want that we call, where you just want to have more sugar. You don't even necessarily like sugar, you just want it. You have this strong drive for it. And it can it can get quite addictive in that way, right? It can get really quite addictive in that way. And so you get these constant cravings throughout the week for sugar, which is more likely for you to break your diet or go over your calories, okay? And now one reason or one thing that a lot of people say is they say, oh, well, what you should do then is you should do, if it fits your macros, and you should, eat all these sugary foods all the time. I'm like, I know a lot of people who that doesn't work for, because in the end of the day, the reasons why you get cravings for food is when you're calorie restricted. You ask any of my boys who are on 7,000 calories a day, okay? Any of those guys who are on 7,000 calories a day. Do they want food? Do they want more sweet food? Sure as shit, no. They don't want anything more. They couldn't think of anything worse than food, okay? Whereas if you are dieting on 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, like 1,000 calories, so like no food, like bugger all food, then yes, you're going to get cravings, okay? And so if you start putting more sugar into your diet on a day-to-day basis, well, not only do you have a negative effect on your gut microbiome a lot of the time, all right, and you start spurring up things like candida and yeast and put them out of control, but you also give yourself more cravings, all right? So the easiest way to beat cravings on a diet is to stop eating shit, all right? So stop eating all these sweet foods, which cause you to crave more and more and more food, all right? I know for me, if I do it too much, then I get hectic sweet food cravings throughout the week, right? I know I do. And so I tend to stay away from those things. Whereas if I'm, if I'm going to have a cheat meal, where at the moment I have cheat meals literally to get more calories in because I can't eat enough. I mean, I'm eating 4,500 calories and getting leaner, go figure. What I do at the moment is I'll just go out and smash a pizza, something nice and savory. I've got massive cravings for fatty foods at the moment. Perhaps I'm choline deficient. And I smash a whole heap of those. And I smash a whole heap of what guys would mostly diet on. So I smash a whole heap of nut butter and things like that. Right? So that's what I do. So the bad side of cheat meals is it can actually make your cravings worse. Rather than giving you a psychological break, it can make your cravings a shitload worse. Right? On top of that too, if you've been dieting all week, then you have one cheat meal with 10,000 calories in it. Thing is, it actually undoes all the calorie deficit of the week, because when people look at losing fat, okay, what you need to do is you need to take into account how much you're eating over a certain period of time. So just because you diet on one day doesn't mean you're going to lose fat. So if you diet for one day and then you have a cheat meal the next day, probably not going to lose fat. If you diet for 6 days and you diet really quite well, then you completely blow out and hit 10, 15, 20,000 calories, which I know some people can do, and you hit that on one day, right, you're going to undo that whole week's progress. So you need to make sure that you're actually using your cheat meals intelligently and you're not being a dickhead, which is my number one rule. So if you think about your cheat meal and you're thinking about it, and you ask yourself this big question, like, am I being a dickhead? If you even have to ask yourself that question, you're probably being a dickhead, all right? And then when you're thinking about that question, all right, and even if you do think about it and you haven't decided that you're already a dickhead, and then you think about what you're doing, you're like, I probably just had 5 Krispy Kremes, 2 pizzas, a can of Coke, not even a can, a litre of Coke. You probably should be telling yourself, yes, you're a dickhead, all right? So don't display dickheadish tendencies like that, all right? Just make sure that you're sensible with your cheat meals. You're not going over the top. Use them wisely, okay? Use them very, very wisely. Be sensible. Keep them to small size and minimize the disturbance in your gut. And now that brings us on to my next thing, which is the effect of cheat meals on the gut. Now, cheat meals should be good. If you use them correctly and you're using them well, they should be good and they should have a very good effect on your body. All right? They can actually be beneficial for your gut. One of my early protocols for a lot of people who have anxiety, who come to me with IBS, is I actually get them to go out and have a cheat meal, and then bang, within 24 hours, they actually relieve a lot of their IBS symptoms. Doesn't always work. But because dieting can be so stressful for some people, they actually give themselves a mild form of anxiety. So having a cheat meal can actually be a really good break for that. It can actually calm a lot of people down and bring them back down. Now, the reasons why it does this is for the interrelation with the neurotransmitters. When you have a cheat meal, right, you increase your dopamine, which is anxiolytic, so it reduces your anxiety. You increase your serotonin, assuming you're having carbs, because carbs increase tryptophan, which increases serotonin. And then you also increase GABA, because when you have a release of insulin, you have a release of GABA at the same time, okay? So they co-release together. And this can bring you down and make you very, very relaxed and take a lot of the stress off, okay? So for that reason, cheat meals can actually be good for your gut, because when you reduce anxiety, you actually improve blood flow to the gut at the same time, and improve digestive function. If we remember and we go back to my prior gut talkings, you'll notice that I heavily correlate between stress and the gut. So if you can relieve stress, then you should relieve a lot of the distress in the gut. Now, for the flip side of the gut, cheat meals can be the worst thing ever. So when people go out and they smash a whole heap of gluten, I'm like, did you ask yourself if you're a dickhead? Okay, that's the first thing that I'll think. And if you are smashing a whole heap of gluten on your cheat meal, you are being a dickhead. Now, the problem with gluten, I've gone over this before, but I'll go over it again, is that it is really, really inflammatory for the digestive lining. It is not good at all. You will feel like crap. A lot of people bloat off it. A lot of people get skin outbreaks off it. A whole heap of rubbish like that. It is not a lot of fun for a lot of people. Okay? And when you go out and you have a big binge of gluten, it's like doubly bad. People will be bloated for a whole week after a cheat meal if they go out and smash a whole heap of gluten and glutinous rubbish and stuff which doesn't digest well with them. Okay? Now, the added bonus about gluten, the best/worst thing in the world, is that it's in your gut for about 6 weeks after or so, I'm told. So when you have that one pizza and those 12 Krispy Kremes, that's actually sitting in your gut for the next 6 weeks. So it's not like, oh, well, I just had one stuff up, it's going to be gone tomorrow, I'll just work it off. No, it's going to be around for a long time. So, if you're having gluten in your cheat meals, you're doing yourself a massive, massive disservice. I tell all my guys who compete, all my guys who are serious about getting lean, if you're going to have a cheat meal, just keep it gluten and lactose free. And that goes on, the next point is lactose. Or dairy even. Dairy, as we all know, is not really good for 99.99% of our guts, okay? A lot of people can't take it. And if you are smashing dairy in your cheat meals, you're giving yourself a bit of casein, which is not a good protein. It can irritate the digestive lining of a lot of people. Some people it doesn't, but a lot of people it does. And lactose. Lactose increases is very well fermented in the gut. It causes a lot of gas, a lot of bloating, a lot of pain for a lot of people. Okay, it does some really bad gastric effects on you. So, when you are going to have a cheat meal, make sure that you look after your gut. Don't have gluten, don't have dairy. Be sensible about it. On top of this too, when you're dieting and you introduce a new food which you haven't had for like weeks and weeks and weeks, for whatever reason, it can actually be really, really hard for your body to digest it for some foods, for whatever reason. I can't tell you which foods and I can't tell you why. But you need to be really careful because in some cases, you'll actually get really highly irritated in there and it's not fun at all, right? Not fun. You'll be bloated, you'll be gassy, you'll be windy, everything. It'll just go to absolute shit. So if you're having cheat meals and you're getting all these side effects in your gut and you're looking watery the next day, that's a really big key. If you're looking watery the next day, then you should not be having the cheat meals that you're having. You need to hold it back. You need to rein it in, stop being a dickhead, eating a fair bit less, okay? One of the major effects that we see with gut issues is that you hold on to a lot of water. When you have a gut issue, you get a lot of water retention around here, and that's a sign of inflammation. And inflammation is a sign of damage to the area and damage to the cells. Now, if you're constantly doing this and you're constantly damaging yourself, you're going to massively impede your fat loss because you're going to throw your hormones all out of whack, right? On top of this too, you're also going to make yourself more prone to anxiety and high levels of stress, okay? So really make sure that you are looking after your gut whenever you're having cheat meals, because on one hand, they can help your gut by relieving the anxiety and relieving the stress. On the other hand, they can have a really, really negative effect, right? And so going on from the gut onto neurotransmitters, because the two are very closely related. Cheat meals can massively, massively affect your neurotransmitters. So, they do. The reason why people are so driven in the lead up to having a cheat meal and why they train so hard is because they have this big dopamine reward at the end. Whenever we eat a food which we describe as pleasurable or nice or tasty or whatever, all right, pleasurable. Nobody describes food as pleasurable, but in us nerds, that's what we call it. But anyone who says food is nice or you like that food or that's, just good food that you prefer over blander stuff like veggies, right? Anything that's more palatable, that gives you a big dopamine boost. A big, big dopamine boost. Something like a donut gives you a massive fat dopamine boost. A big, fatty, carby, sugary, salty donut. Krispy Kreme. That is what will give you a massive dopamine boost. And when you have this dopamine boost waiting in front of you, and you see it in the distance in 5 days' time, you will work a shitload harder for it, okay? And you just know it's there. It actually increases your motivation. And then when you get that dopamine boost, it drops it down, all right? So you get the dopamine boost, you feel it, you feel fantastic, you feel satisfied that you got it, and then you get the want again for that dopamine boost. Now this can go either one of two ways. It can either make you just crave that sugary food, or it can make you crave the exercise and know if you use it with self-restraint, you can make it so that you're using this big dopamine reward waiting at the end of each week. It's just there looking at you every single week and you'll train much, much harder for it. So you can go either one of two ways. If you're mentally strong, then it's going to go the latter, which is improving your performance. If you're not as mentally strong, then you're going to cave in and you're going to start having cheat meals all the time. Okay, so it's very, very much one of two ways. On top of this too, by having these cheat meal, by having this cheat meal, you can actually take yourself out of fight or flight. So when you go into a calorie surplus, you bring yourself out of fight or flight and you make your body less stressed, like a lot less stressed. Now, having one cheat meal isn't going to completely take you out of that if you've been dieting for like the last 12 weeks. But if you are having a cheat meal and it's sufficient enough to make you relax, it can actually have a really positive effect on neurotransmitters, particularly GABA and 5-HTP, serotonin and 5-HT, for like a week or so to come. You'll notice that if you're starting to lose sleep throughout your prep and you have or throughout your dieting period and you have a cheat meal, you will actually begin to sleep better if you start implementing regular cheat meals. So that's one of the positive effects it can do. Okay. But yeah, going back again to the negative is pretty much that when you have a cheat meal, you need to be really careful that you don't develop cravings from that cheat meal, because that's what the whole dopamine system can do. If you're overdoing your sugar, you'll dysregulate your gut, which gives you more cravings, and then you'll dysregulate your dopamine, which also gives you more cravings. All right? And that's pretty much everything that I wanted to cover. Now, I hope it made sense. Guys, if I didn't make sense, then let me know, okay? Because I'll go over it. Now, let's go through the questions. Petey, how are you, mate? Good to see you again, Petey. Peter Shapina, are your cheat meals the same time every week? It doesn't matter when you have your cheat meals, all right? Tuesdays are no more anabolic than Wednesdays. Wednesdays are no more insulin sensitive than Thursdays. Thursdays are no more leptin stimulating than Fridays, okay? So it doesn't matter when you have your cheat meal, just get it in. I think towards the end of the week is good because you can use it as a reward for a really, really well-earned week of training. Okay? You've worked your ass off and you get it at the end of the week. I also find this helps you stay more focused, and it also fits into most people's social lives a lot better. Okay? But no, it doesn't matter. Aiden. Coming up to the end of week 4 now, and probably have my first this weekend. I watched last night and saw alcohol is the devil. Alcohol's pretty bad. Thoughts on swapping the cheat meal for 2 to 3 soda water and vodkas to be social and event? That's fine, man. That's fine. Look, in the end of the day, that might actually have a positive effect because it might make you more chilled out. So yeah, swapping your cheat meal for a couple of soda water and vodkas to be social and event, that's fine, man. I'm more than happy for you to do that. In fact, I'm more than happy for most of my clients to have like one glass of red wine a week, because it makes a lot of people really relaxed, really happy, and it gives them something to look forward to. Blake, how are you, brother? Jeff Cooper. How are you, brother? I get headaches when I up my protein to high levels, like on the current meal plan. Water helps a bit. Any tips? Well, let's look at your digestion first, mate. Is your digestion bad? If it is, let me know. If not, if your digestion isn't bad, then I'd actually be really wondering what it is, and we might change that, okay? So if you're getting headaches from protein, particularly animal protein, generally it would be a digestive thing and a dehydration thing, okay? The reason why water helping a bit would be because it actually moves it through your digestive system a lot better. It does take a lot for your digestive system to break down protein. It can slow the whole process down. But yeah, let me know how your digestion is, big fella, and we'll get onto it. Bo, love these live feeds, brother. Mate, thank you for being here. I love doing them too. Dan, what is the best cheat meal? I always crave chocolate and never used to. Mate, if you're craving chocolate, it's actually telling you something. There's a bit of evidence, I can't remember when it was, to suggest that your body will actually crave foods which, when you're deficient in certain micronutrients. Chocolate could be magnesium, so make sure you're taking magnesium. If you're craving chocolate, it could also just be the sweet taste, because you're not having as many sweet foods as what you used to be. But I'd say the best cheat meal, if you are getting sweet cravings all the time, is just something that's savory. So reduce the amount of sugar and increase the amount of starch or fat. Okay. Pizza is a great one. Pizza, gluten-free pizza with no cheese. When you get sugar cravings, sugar-free jelly is a good way to curb those cravings. They can be. However, with sugar-free jellies, you need to be really careful because they contain a high amount of maltitol, I think that's it, maltitol and xylitol, okay? When you have high amounts of those, they're very easily fermentable, and what they can do is they can actually really upset your gut. Stevia, on the other hand, that's fine. You don't have a worry in the world. So, you can smash stevia for days and it'll actually have good effects on you. So the answer is, be really careful with your sugar-free lollies, okay? Because some of them are good, some of them are bad. Make sure you got lots of stevia and not much xylitol or maltitol. Anything that's a sugar alcohol is not good. Hey Robbie, how are you, brother? What do I think of the ketogenic diet? Big fan of the ketogenic diet when you need it, okay? It can be very good for fat loss for people who are stubborn with fat loss and just aren't budging, okay? It can be very good for people with compliance. It can be very good to improve insulin sensitivity and reduce inflammation within the body. Very good for autoimmune disorders, all that sort of stuff. So it's got its time and its place. If you want optimal performance though, probably not going to recommend it, all right? So yeah, I would recommend that if you're looking to get bigger and get leaner and push big numbers in the gym, I probably wouldn't recommend keto all the time. However, if you're looking to improve your health, then yes. Same time, I've also had a lot of clients who I've ran a ketogenic diet with initially, and then after that, transitioned them out of a ketogenic diet into like a backloading style principle, and they've actually got accelerated results on the backloading style of principle, which I attribute to the ketogenic diet assisting with inflammation and improving the gut microbiome. Duncan, what are your thoughts on sugar-free drinks to help with cravings? All right, great question, brother. Those drinks can actually make your cravings worse a lot, and I've used them before. So I wouldn't always recommend them. With that being said, they're not actually going to have really any negative effect on your body composition if you use them in moderation. The carbonated water in them is no good at all, all right? That can really upset your gut. It upsets a lot of people's guts. So for that, I would minimize them. If you have like one drink every couple of days, yeah, that's going to be fine, but I wouldn't push it. If you get sucralose in those drinks, they're terrible, all right? Do not have sucralose in those drinks at all because it's really bad for your gut. As for phenylalanine, aspartame, all that sort of stuff, there's actually no real evidence at the moment to suggest that there's anything bad. Blake, is that Fitness Meals, mate? Yes, it is Fitness Meals. That's from Daily Fuel. I think I put you in touch with Gemma. I'm not sure if she delivers down your way yet. But yeah. Daily Fuel, mate. So much better than cooking. Alright. Blake, give us an example of a good cheat meal that's gluten-free, dairy-free, etc. That wipes out pizza, pasta, ice cream, etc. Well, mate, you'll be impressed. You can get gluten-free pizza literally everywhere. Now, I know you live out in the sticks, mate, so you might have access to it. I don't know if you have access to the internet other than on your phone. You might have to drive half an hour just to listen to these things from where you live. But you can get gluten-free, dairy-free, literally anything. I get dairy-free ice cream. Absolutely amazing. Made with almond milk, okay? Fantastic stuff. I get my gluten-free pizza. Right? I got Cafe Geo just down the road from me in Lane Cove. Phenomenal, my favourite thing all the time. Love it, absolutely love it. And that's gluten-free, dairy-free. It's just literally pizza base with a bit of garlic, herbs and some olive oil. Amazing, froth the stuff. Alright, on top of that too, mate, nothing beats having a fat tomahawk steak, like a really big steak. Mate, there are so many ideas out there, even stuff like lollies. Geez, mate, there is so much. There's so much out there. You just got to be a little bit creative, all right? Now, us men aren't naturally creative, but yeah, what I would normally have, man, is just pretty much I just smash a fat pizza that's got no lactose and no gluten in it. Okay. Sam Blacker, what day-to-day pre-made meals do you recommend? As in like to cook for yourself or to have prepared for you? Ask the question again. No, when I get to it, I'll answer it, mate. PD, so you're saying casein protein can often irritate the gut, and yet companies that sell it suggest to take it before bed when the gut is most active. Yes, it can in some instances, Pete. All right. So it's not all bad. It's not all bad. There are some instances where it's okay, and I have used it in clients before, and it has worked quite well. But for a lot of you guys, it's not going to work well, and it's not going to sit well at all. Okay, so I'd probably recommend, in general, avoiding it unless you specifically got told to take it. Timmy, what would be the most effective anti-inflammatories to take daily out of curcumin, fish oil, berberine, or insert better option? Also, do antihistamine tablets affect results? Mate, all the above anti-inflammatories are great. Okay, you can't really compare them. They're all completely different. Antihistamine tablets, good question. Antihistamine tablets, well, actually, let's explain histamine. Guys, histamine is the stuff that really starts the healing process and inflammation in the body. Histamine is good, all right? It's good, okay? Now, when we take any food or eat any food which is not good for our gut and we get watery, that's histamine working. When we wake up in the morning and we're all snotty and nasally and puffy in our faces and you feel like shit and you can't think, that's histamine. Anywhere that you have redness on your body, any like redness under your eyes, on your on the back of your elbows, your back of your triceps, any of that crap, okay? That stuff is all from histamine. And when we take antihistamines, we normally take them to reduce symptoms of hay fever and stuff like that. Now, the problem with antihistamines is it actually reduces our natural degradation of histamines called, I think it's DAO, diamine oxidase, that's correct. And it reduces diamine oxidase and it stops us from creating as much of this stuff, which keeps our histamine levels in check. So antihistamine tablets will not be good. As far as their effect being anti-inflammatory, I don't think it's going to do that. But what it is going to do is it is actually going to make you more watery over the time. Right? And it can also affect your gut. Kate, how are you, legend? Kate's question is, could an increase in calories much bigger than normal upset the stomach? I've started eating more than normally, but I also ate eggs, which I haven't eaten in a while, and I was sick the next day. Yes, an increase in calories can upset the stomach, but it's more likely to be the actual foods which you're eating. So pay close attention to which foods you're eating which are causing you to have issues. My general advice is if you've done this, you're looking at the foods and you can't identify which one's doing it to you, go on a low FODMAP, FODMAP protocol and see if that starts to help. If that does, then you've got an issue with your stomach and your intestine motility and we need to fix that up. As for eating eggs, if you eat eggs and then you're sick the next day, then it's probably eggs. Eggs are like number 3 or 4 highest allergen in the world, so they're they generate a lot of immune responses in a lot of people, okay? So if that's the case, I'd probably recommend cutting out the eggs. They're not always good for you. Gary Hind, hey brother, how's things? Things are always good here, mate. Cannot complain. Stephen. Good question, mate. Do you think everyone can recover from a workout at the same rate? No. Definitely people recover at different rates. It depends on how long you've been training, how well you've been training, how hard you're training, all that sort of stuff. I do believe that to an extent, everyone can adapt to training to the same workout at the same rate so that you can actually hack your genetics in order to perform better and to recover faster. But as far as like just genetically gifted, yes, there are definitely some differences. But that's not an excuse, man. You should still push balls to the wall with all your workouts. And you should focus on increasing your recovery by training harder. Remember, training is an adaptation. Recovery is an adaptation. So if you work your ass off, mate, and you keep working, grinding, you will get better at recovering and you'll be able to out-recover people who are more genetically gifted than you. Okay? I hope that helps. Laura, I'm constantly craving sugar. Berberine, my friend. Berberine will sort you out. Jenna Romani, how are you, mate? Does drinking cold water with your meals affect the way your body metabolizes the food? No, that was a very popular myth perpetuated by some idiots back for the last 20 years or so. Doesn't affect it at all. However, I actually did hear once from a study back in like 1970, I think it was, really long time ago, that drinking room temperature water with your post-workout drinks and all that stuff can actually increase the rate at which you absorb it. That's an old study. That's from a long time ago. Don't know how it works, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm remembering that one. Well, I know I'm remembering it correctly. I just don't know when exactly it's from. So yeah, there was a study done back in the day to do that. Good question, mate. Robbie, raw egg whites versus cooked egg whites, protein absorption. Number one, why the fuck would you ever want to eat raw egg whites? Like, seriously, raw egg whites, mate, they fucking stink. They're gross. They're bad enough cooked. Like, you don't need to eat egg whites. There's no need to just eat egg whites. Just have some whey. You know, whey tastes nice. You know, if you get a good flavour, if you get some Sabido stuff, it tastes delicious. Don't have raw, mate. It's gross. On top of this too, how badly do you want salmonella? Right? Well, I don't even know if salmonella's in eggs, but I don't think it's going to be terribly good for you to eat them raw. I would not. Oh, if you're eating pasteurised raw egg whites, then maybe it'll be okay. I don't know. But mate, if I were you, I wouldn't bother, alright? No way would I bother doing that. Just fry up an egg, which is actually quite nice. You know, the white's the shit part. The yolk's the good part. You know, why? No, don't do that, mate. Gross. Just have some whey instead. Egg whites are rank. You know? Marcus, aren't you concerned with gluten-free alternatives that contain corn, etc.? I'm much happier for people to eat corn than gluten. Corn isn't always bad. A lot of people are allergic and do get immune reactions to corn, but those people generally figure it out pretty quickly, right? So I'd much prefer you to forego gluten, which has zero beneficial effects whatsoever, than, you know, foregoing corn or cornstarch, which can be high in resistant starch, or potato starch, or tapioca starch, or anything like that. Fahad, how are you, brother? Fahad's question is, food and protein for skinny guy and bit of fatty body to build up muscle, and what to do. Any recommendations? Big fella, eat more protein, eat more veggies, moderate your fats, moderate your carbs, exercise more. You'll be fine. Catherine, how are you, legend? How can I overcome the afternoon energy slump? For you, and this is very specific to you, Catherine. For you, what this is going to be, you're going to have this slump for probably about the next week or so, and then it's going to kick in. Things you can do to overcome it are such as taking Theacrine about 2 hours before your energy slump, and also taking a nap or meditating throughout the middle of the day. Okay, if you meditate at about midday, then you won't actually get the 2 p.m. lulls. All right, everybody gets them. Well, a lot of people get them. Very, very common. But if you meditate, you'll get a lot better with that. On top of this too, when we make you sleep a whole heap better, you won't get the energy slumps through the middle of the day. Duncan Palmer. When I first started on my meal plan 3 weeks ago, my body struggled energy-wise, but now I find I get through the day no worries. Is this an indication of needing an increased calorie deficit or just a normal behavior of the body adapting? Great question, because it can be both. Fantastic question, mate. So yes, as Duncan said, when you are dieting, you will adapt to the diet. So if you're eating 2,000 calories, all right, and that you used to be hungry on that, if you eat 2,000 calories for the next 6 months, then you will adapt to that and you won't get any hungrier and you won't lose any more fat. Okay. Now, for Duncan, he's in 3 weeks, 3 weeks into a meal plan. What I normally recommend is is changing it up in about a week's time. For anybody who wants to do that, and I'd say you can definitely increase the calorie deficit as you go on, and that's what we do. If you are backloading, you'll also notice that when you're first starting out, anyone who works with me will notice when you're first starting out the backloading, you'll feel like your energy levels sometimes drop for like the first week or so, and then they pick up. And that's actually just you becoming what we call more metabolically flexible, or what I see as metabolically flexible, more insulin sensitive, and better to function off fat. Okay, so it can be just a normal behavior of the body adapting, as well as your gut improving and your sugar levels improving. Great question, big fella. Jaden, will I still get results using pea protein rather than whey? Yes, you will. I've tried a lot of different whey proteins and most of them make me feel a bit sick, although I'm not sure if that could be due to them being quite sweet or the whey itself. For you, big fella, it's probably sucralose, alright? And so that's what we're going to get sorted for you, is we need to make sure that your gut's moving properly. If you have a bad gut and it's not moving properly, you get bloated, anything like that, and you have a whey protein with sucralose in it, it's going to completely screw you up, all right? Even the Sabido stuff can screw up a few people's guts. So, yeah, man, I'd probably just switch over to the whey, but make sure it's naturally... So, switch over to the pea protein, but make sure it's naturally flavored. Gemma. Hola. Gemma's question is, bit off topic, but I'm wondering if your body builds a reliance or even resistance to subs. In terms of reliance, say I'm taking something like Resurrect or Cord RX every night and then stop. Am I going to struggle to sleep? Great question. Yes, your body attenuates or gets used to literally everything. So literally most things that you take, it will get used to it. If you're taking caffeine, your body will get used to it, and then you'll build up a resistance or a reliance. Right? If you're taking high amounts of phenibut, more than what's in on the Ronnie Coleman Resurrect, then yes, you'll also get a reliance. If you're taking high amounts of 5-HTP, yes, you will. But the thing is, the real key here is that at a certain dose, the doses which I prescribe, you actually don't get a reliance on it. You don't develop a tolerance. In fact, some people, and there's some evidence to suggest that you actually get a sensitivity, so it actually becomes more effective over time. Right, with a lot of the ones which I prescribe. Great question though. If you stop the Ronnie Coleman Resurrect, you won't struggle to sleep, but you just won't feel as good in your sleep because you won't be as much of a deep sleep as what you were before. Oh, we made through the questions. Absolutely nailed it tonight. All right. Well, I got a fair bit of food to eat, so guys, if you want to keep hammering away at the questions, I'll keep answering them. And also, guys, please do forgive me if I do waffle on a little bit off topic because I'm absolutely fried. I smashed chest and shoulders with Abdel, so we ended up doing what we got on the Smith machine. No, what's it? Swiss press. Got on the Swiss press, hitting bench press. We hit 100 kilos for about 5 reps for 5 sets or so to warm up. Then after that, we moved on to like a dumbbell bench on a 45-degree incline, and we were pumping the 50s, biggest weight in the gym, for about, I don't know how many sets, maybe 12 sets or so, all to failure, all about 10 reps or so that was a bit silly. And then after that, we ended up hitting shoulder press to failure as well. So I'm pretty fried, right? So yeah. Jackie, this carb backloading is awesome. My second week, I feel so much leaner. It works, doesn't it? I can't tell you why it works, but it bloody works, alright? Everyone will say, oh, no, carb backloading doesn't work, doesn't change your body fat levels. But mysteriously, people look leaner all the time. And sleep better, and feel better, and think better. Maybe Jimmy Cant's onto something. I don't know. I think he's an idiot, but anyway. Catherine, how effective is ATP Block E3? Great question. Guys, for those of you who don't know, this is a brand in Australia called ATP Science, right? They make some really good quality products. One of them is called Block E3, which is like a cream you rub into your skin. If you're going to compete in a bodybuilding show, Block E3 is going to be absolutely fantastic for you in the lead up to that show. If, however, you're just wanting to get lean, I probably wouldn't recommend it, right? It is not going to make a substantial change in fat loss. If you're 5% body fat, it can make you look 4%, alright? If you're 7%, it can make you look like 6.5%. If you're 20%, it's not really going to make much of a difference, okay? So it's not going to do a whole lot. So yeah, it will be effective in certain circumstances. Timmy Nesbitt. How many grams of BCAAs would you recommend on training or non-training days? None on non-training days. Don't sip on your BCAAs and EAs. Not worth it. Doesn't go well. And I actually find people put on more fat when they do that. And two, for on training days, brother, you know I'm a big fan of at least 20 to 40 grams of BCAAs and EAAs around your training, around your workouts. Your DOMs are just so much better. Alright. Would you still get results listening to your body when you're full as opposed to having to eat those calories and feel sick and bloated? Yes, you will to an extent, but the reason why you feel sick and bloated is because you're so stressed. Now, Laura, you and I both know you're pretty stressed right now, but if you're stressed, you need to actually eat more food. Right? The reason why you need to eat more food is because when you are in a calorie deficit, it's very stressful on your body. When you're in a surplus, you're very relaxed. It increases more of the neurotransmitters that you want. Okay? So, by eating more, for somebody like you, it's going to have a large number of positive effects on your body, and it's actually going to reduce that feeling of sick and bloatedness over time, right? Assuming we get it right. Okay. Next question. Corey. Hey bro, would you recommend coffee or a pre-workout? Yeah mate, most pre-workouts are shit, alright? Straight up, just shit, bad, waste of time. Would not bother. So for that, yeah, I'd go a coffee if you're gonna have anything. But even better than that is using a smart pre-workout, brother. You know, I always talk about these, and I always get all my clients to take these. What's it called? Tyrosine. So taking a bit of tyrosine pre-workout, theocrine, alpha-ketoglutarate, all those sorts of things. They are the stuff which is going to help you, alright? They're going to help you out in a big way. These regular pre-workouts that everyone has, which are just literally like nice flavoured water with a fuckload of caffeine in it, they're not going to help you whatsoever, so I wouldn't recommend them. Okay? Coffee, yeah, it's okay, but you're definitely better off using a nootropic like tyrosine or theocrine. Yeah? Oh, I'm actually pretty cooked. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to lie to you. It was a good sesh though, very good sesh. No? Well. So we still have 56 people online, but we have no questions coming through. Talk to me. I want to talk about stuff. Otherwise I'll just keep rambling again about my training sessions and my diet, and it's boring. Anyway, I'll do a little bit about me at the moment. So as you know, I'm working very, very hard in order to get sleep apnea. My goal is to gain another 10 kilos before the end of the year. My current problem is that I'm currently eating about 4,500 calories, and I keep getting leaner. I keep getting leaner and leaner and leaner. So yeah. I'm currently smashing 4,500 calories, trying to get them in any way I can. I'm going to go smash some rice after this as well. And, yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. I'm smashing roughly 500 grams of carbs a day, mostly backloading. Sometimes during the day I'll smash a few because it can be a bit hard to get in all the carbs. For those of you who train with me, it's 10 serves of carbs that I'm trying to smash, at least. Very, very hard. So yeah, tough times, mate, poor Jimbo. And all those carbs come from actually decent sources, so I like oven-baked potato chips or smashed rice. One of those two. Every morning, I'm crunching like about 60 grams of carbs or so. 60 grams of carbs, 60 grams of fat with my meal one. I even started having cereal for breakfast. I started smashing some of this gluten-free cereal made with tapioca starch, delicious, just to get some more calories in. Now Jared's just came in with a good question. I missed the start of this, but could you touch on sodium manipulation? When is it or is it not effective? Why does it work? I actually don't really recommend too much sodium manipulation anymore, because I just try and make sure that you look fucking awesome when you come on stage, right? If you're trying to cut sodium, play around with sodium and stuff in order to peak for a competition, then it can really, really screw around with you. But in a big way. It can make you flat, it can make you more watery, you can play around with hormones, you can just bang on a heap more water, or you can, look absolutely mint. Rarely does it happen, you look absolutely mint. In case of people using diuretics and diuretics, yeah, we manipulate it a bit, but that's because we can actually control it, right? If you're not one of those people, then yeah, you don't really need to manipulate sodium too much. All these coaches now are like, oh, you know, sodium manipulation is like the big thing. It's like, nah, it's really not. You don't need to manipulate it a whole heap because your body is so much smarter than you. It's like, what the fuck are you doing, you idiot? And then you're like, oh, I'm trying to get leaner and lose water. And it's like, well, you're just fat, so you're going to look shit anyway. And then you're like, well, no, I'm going to lose water, I'm going to look shredded. And it's like, no, you're not, alright? So I wouldn't worry too much about the water the sodium manipulation, big fella. It's more about timing your water and reducing your water in a smart way, as opposed to cutting sodium 36 hours out, you know, which massively increases, you know, aldosterone and all that stuff. But anyway, I hope that answered your question, big fella, in a long ranting way, which involved me talking to myself. Robbie, am I better off consuming simple carbohydrates intra-workout as opposed to waiting until post-workout for the insulin spike or whatever benefit that may have? Play around, big fella. Everyone's different. Alright? Laura Adams, isn't sleep apnea bad? Yes, Laura, sleep apnea is quite bad for you, but I want to be so big that I get it, because that's like an achievement of being really fucking big, okay? That being said, when I am coughing and spluttering in my sleep and using a CPAP machine, I'm probably not going to find it too fun, then I'll get rid of my sleep apnea. Matty Butcher. Hey mate, when I get up at 4 AM for my workout, I take a pre-workout on an empty stomach. That's fine. And don't eat till after I get home. Is that ideal? Mate, if you feel fine, then that's fine. If your stomach feels bad, then it's bad, alright? So the very big thing is, if you feel good, it's sweet. If it's not, it's not sweet. You gotta stop it, you gotta change it. Tim Nesbitt. Have you heard of Kimura coffee? It contains a variety of neurotransmitter precursors as well as Dominican coffee. In theory, this is an effective way to get them in, or more effective to buy, take it each ingredient separately. Yeah, I'm sure it's effective, very convenient to get it in. In fact, it's actually quite a smart idea. I like it. Entrepreneurial. Very, very good. But yeah, man, you can just buy the ingredients separately and get the same thing. Probably a lot cheaper. And like, what's the draw card of Dominican coffee? Like, is it actually any different to the regular coffee that we just buy? I don't know. Call me dumb, you know? Maybe I'm ignorant. But like, fucking coffee's coffee. Like, it doesn't matter where in the world it comes. It doesn't matter if a fucking unicorn's shattered up. In fact, fun fact, my housemate recently bought bought this coffee from Bali, which is from the whatever it is, macaw, which is eaten by the macaw and shat out by the macaw. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll pay $80 a kilo for this stuff. And we got it. I honestly reckon it tastes like instant coffee. It's crap. Like, it's rubbish. I would not be surprised if the Balinese have stitched us up with some really low grade quality and sold it to him for $80 a kilo. Right? But anyway, that's my little rant for tonight. Fucking coffee's coffee. You just got to get a good blend. Petey, can you explain why my workouts to begin with have such high reps for fat loss? Alright, guys, one thing I love doing is I love getting everyone who starts working on me on higher reps just to begin with, because it stimulates lymphatic flow, right? So a lot of people get really jammed up and they've got no blood flow whatsoever. By giving you a hectic pump and giving you like lots of 30 rep workouts and 10 reps and 12 reps, and some people as low as 6, or some people as high as 50, all right? Really varies, a whole different one. But the key thing is I like to get a lot of people on higher rep workouts, because when you do this, right, when you're on these high reps, you get much better blood flow throughout your whole body. You feel a whole heap better. You'll notice that your brain function just starts clearing up all of a sudden. You won't correlate that to your workouts, but it's actually the cause of it. Right? And that's the big reason why I do it. On top of it too, burns a shitload of calories, gets you really lean really quick, so that you're like, James, you're a magician. And I'm like, thank you, I am. Alright, so that's the real reason. Jackson, hey homie, got third on the weekend at WBFF and have to thank you for teaching me lots when you prepped me earlier in the year. Anytime, big fella. Congratulations on the third. Good achievement. Alex Donnelly, thoughts on intermittent fasting and working out / doing cardio on an empty stomach as soon as you wake up? Yeah, bro, that's fine. That's sweet. Go for it. Catherine, what is the benefit of eating rice that hasn't cooled or is reheated? No real benefit. If you cool rice, potato, or any real carb, and then you heat it again, it increases. No, if you heat it and cook it, and then you cool it, it increases this stuff called resistant starch, which can be really good for your gut. But for people like you, resistant starch is your worst enemy, so I wouldn't do that. I'd avoid it. Sukumar Cricket Perth. Good name. I like it. Hi, bro. 2 questions. Is eating mango after a meal good? I thought it has sugar and not good for full sleep. Mango's fucking awesome, bro. Get onto it. Also, when you come off flu and trying to get back to training, hard to eat the same quantity of food. What is the best way to get back to old appetite and also digest better? Great question, Sukumar. Very good question. Okay, so when you've been crook, it's often very stressful for your body, or you don't sleep too well. What you need to do is you need to increase your GABA, your GABA. It's a supplement. Look it up on Google. GABA intake, and make sure that you increase it. Right? Take a bit more. You sleep a bit more. Are more relaxed, and then you'll be fine. Your appetite will come back. Hagob, how are you, legend? How many times do you usually have cheat meals a month? Are they small portions, or do you rarely have it for months? At the moment, I have a cheat meal every single week, and it's fucking big because I need to eat more, right? I'm trying to get sleep apnea. It's hard, alright? I'm trying to put on another 10 or more kilos, okay? I got to eat a lot. So for me, I have at least one a week. Well, I pretty much only have one a week at the moment. That's because at the moment, I'm already shoveling food down my gob like all the time. It's tough. It's hard, alright? I just keep getting leaner. So yeah, brother. Normally once a week, right? And they're really, really big. Just laughing at Woodsy's comment. Lawrence Vanderlind. Question on carb backloading, sir. Sir? Oh, thank you. Mostly eat protein, fats and veggies before workout. Workout at late afternoon. If I backload with example, 600 grams of sweet potato with dinner, maybe 2 slices of whole wheat toast before bed, roughly 180 grams of carbs. That enough or too much? Weight 85. That's fine, bro. If you're lean, then it's sweet. The only thing I'd say is just change the toast, make sure it's gluten free. Amazing. My food is just saying, get on the taro, works for Polynesians. Taro is awesome. That stuff is absolutely mint. I will second that, mate. When I was in Tahiti a couple of years ago competing in my first international competition, I was crushing the taro. It's absolutely awesome. Right? Bryce, what's your favourite cheat meal? Just lots of food, brother. That's the big thing. Just like lots and lots of food, like bulk food. I was out at the farmers markets this weekend with my missus on Sunday, and literally, I couldn't get enough in. I had this fat burrito, this burrito bowl. What did I have? A scone. I can't even remember what else I had. And then I had like this massive like corn fritter, which is like huge with extra bacon, all that stuff. Just bulk food. And that was continuing on from the night before when I had 2 pizzas as well. Alright? Gerson, natural or no natural bodybuilding? If I can do what you like, bro, I don't give a shit. If you're gonna take steroids, take steroids. If it makes you happy, it makes you happy. If you're happier being natural, then be natural. Really couldn't care less. But good for you all the same. Timmy, cheers for the honest info without marketing spin or bull. Mate, I could not give a fuck about making somebody else rich, so I'm not going to give them a prop up unless they actually have a good product, okay? The only people I really care about are you guys. So those rich supplement company people, you know, they can go and get fucked. And, you know, I feel that my soul is worth a little bit more than a 10% discount, and, you know, calling myself a sponsored athlete so I can do, you know, take selfies of my ass next to their product. That is why you'll never see me next to a product which I don't believe in. All right, and more so still, a lot of these companies, these manufacturer guys, they probably don't like me at all because I will call them out on their shit when I think it is shit. And at the same time, if I'm involved with a company, I'm in their ear about it all the time. Like, for those of you who know Sean from Sabido, I've been pestering him for like a year and a half to bring out this BCAA EAA mix because, number one, I'm a bit too lazy to bring it out myself. And number two, because there's no decent BCAAs on the market which taste good. And so, yeah, so anything that I actually advertise, I genuinely use myself and would use myself. Hope you all know that. Now, on that note, I'm going to say adios. I'm going to go read my little book and make myself smarter and come at you with some more neurotransmitter information. And yeah, I'm gonna head off to bed. Take it easy. If you have any more questions, you know where to find me. Join the JCF Shred community, and we'll be there. Oh fuck! I got to put up the link for that. Forgot. All right. How terrible of me. Do I even mark it? I'm going to put up the link for the JCF Shred community right now. Facebook.com/groups/JCF Shred community. Alright, bang. It's up there now. If you're not in it already, join the Shred community. Get amongst it. I've pinned it to the top so you'll be able to constantly see this. A constant reminder of where you can ask me questions. And by the way, guys, once again, if you missed last night's Q&A or live video on drugs, make sure that you go check it out. If you do actually take drugs, like recreational drugs like Coke and MDMA and all that stuff, I'm not here to judge you. I'm actually here to help you. So that video's got a whole heap of info in there for you. And so, yeah, because I just want to see you guys get jacked and shredded. All right? On that note, adios. I'm out. Enjoy your night. Speak to you soon.